Today on Comicstorian, Kingpin is going to try to get the X-Men arrested. This is Comicstorian. I take your favorite comic books, I break them down into digestible bites, we cut out a bunch of the fluff, we give you the bare bones plot, and I read it dramatically back to you. The point of this is so that you can go out and buy the books yourself if you want to, but still have an understanding as to what is happening if you're trying to just follow along. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective company. Devil's Reign is a crossover event that was initiated by Daredevil. Kingpin had the information of what Daredevil's identity actually was, and Daredevil used a means known as the Purple Children to wipe everyone's memory and ability to read what his identity was. This caused Kingpin to become furious, and as the mayor of New York, he outlawed vigilantes in New York. While Daredevil and Elektra are working on a way to fix this, the rest of the superheroes are dealing with the fallout. And today is going to be the 3 spin-off issues of this series known as X-Men. No cliffhangers today, these 3 issues are the full X-Men story, and if you want early access to this, along with exclusive videos that don't come to the YouTube for a very long time, join us at our Patreon, patreon.com/comicstorian. But let's get into Devil's Reign X-Men. In Seneca Park, a giant tree was planted by the X-Men to serve as a direct passage between New York and Krakoa, the island that the X-Men now inhabit, in the event that the X-Men are ever needed to watch over New York. But right now, Fisk's Thunderbolts are gathering around the X-Men's treehouse gate to sever that connection. Because of the outlaw and vigilantism, a gateway between New York and Krakoa must be closed to keep the great city safe by removing a dangerous tree from Midtown Manhattan. U.S. agent steps forward, calling out that whoever is listening beyond the gate, your time is up, and he throws his shield when it suddenly stops mid-flight. I hate these freaks. He then yells to Polaris that she is withholding United States property. She sits up in the tree asking, "Really? I thought we were playing Frisbee. The kids play it down in the yard all the time." U.S. agent radios back stating that as expected, the X-Men are non-compliant, requesting the Thunderbolts at this stupid treehouse. Jean Grey and the other X-Men come out of the gate as Polaris jumps down, telling them, "How about we start over?" And the U.S. agent asks, "Where's my shield?" Polaris thinks for a moment, telling him that she threw it back to him, but she may have overshot Manhattan. Suddenly, she's electrocuted as the rest of the Thunderbolts appear, with Rogue asking Rhino, "What are you doing?" Remy would be disappointed in you. Rhino tells her, "Ain't nothing personal, sugar. Just business." Polaris gets back to her feet, getting ready to charge in when Jean stops her, telling her that this is what Fisk wants, to have the cameras rolling while they appear to be the aggressors. Then the U.S. agent walks up to Jean with a paper stating that this, whatever this is, it's an illegal structure and is being seized by the city of New York. Soon the department will be down here with their tree chippers and dump trucks. But as U.S. agent smiles, thinking that he has one over on them, Emma Frost holds out another paper stating that the treehouse is now recognized by the United Nations as a consult of a sovereign nation, the nation of Krakoa. The X-Men are posted here with a goodwill mission for the betterment of all mankind, and indeed all life on the planet Earth. She would certainly love to throw him out of Seneca Gardens, but it remains an open green space for all New Yorkers, even ones named the U.S. agent. U.S. agent reports back to Fisk, and Fisk tells him to continue their rounds and leave the X-Men to him. Jean thanks Emma for her help, and Emma laughs, stating that getting one over on Fisk is one of her old hobbies. And Jean tells her to be careful. She can feel Fisk's rage even across the town. Later, Fisk's aide, Wesley, walks into the office stating that he has the dossier on Emma Frost. Fisk takes the folder, flipping through the pages. "Summon my chief of detectives. Let him know that some interesting information has come to light in the cold case murder of a young woman here in New York City. We'll make sure that justice is done, even if that justice were to implicate a rich and powerful woman of privilege." In the coming days, the news reports come out of the accusations against Emma Frost, the X-Men, and how she is connected to an unsolved murder that happened in New York City long ago. Emma sits in the office with her lawyers asking how it's looking, and one says that the legal term for this story is not good. Emma says that she's been guilty of many things, but she's never been an abuser of children. She did what any woman in New York would have done at that time. She helped the young girl out. In fact, she was not the first young woman that she assisted. The lawyer tells her, "Great, is there anything else that they could be hit with?" She bites her lips for one moment. Well, hopefully not, I have had an interesting life. In fact, some of those days were a blur. There was a time when she remembered being a part of some unusual loan activity. She may have posed as Sue Richards and withdrew a $200 million loan. She was also ordered to pluck some ideas out of very intelligent people like Tony Stark. She also persuaded Jen Walters into forgetting a crucial document in a legal case. But really, let's not go opening doors with skeletons in them. Let's wait and see which doors fling open and which skeletons stumble out. She'll produce the women that they are insisting that she killed. And then let's sue the paper into oblivion, shall we? But there's a little bit more to the story as it takes place many years ago in the Hellfire Club. This was a time both Emma and Elektra were under Kingpin's employ, and Elektra made a mistake. She was seen while working. Emma blew it off, stating that it sounds like a terrible time for poor, but Elektra told her that it was a child. The child needs to forget tonight before she can talk. So Emma grabs her coat, stating that who would have thought that she'd be trudging off to do charity work for children. Since the murder was already being investigated and a little girl taken away, Elektra picks the lock to the hotel room where she's being kept. By this time, word has already gotten to Fisk about the investigation, making sure that there are no connections to anything, and he orders that all of the witnesses be killed. But before the two could wake the child, Elektra hears footsteps and prepares to fight. But she also senses someone else nearby that could give them help. Outside, Spider-Man was swinging through the city eating when he suddenly heard a loud scream inside of his head. As Fisk's men stormed the building, Spider-Man jumped through a window, asking which one of them screams like a hot blonde. And why does he know that they were blonde? Some of the men point their guns at Spider-Man while the others kick down the door to the little girl's room, but the moment that they enter, Elektra slices into their throats. Emma wakes the girl up, stating, "Okay, Isabel, such a pretty name for a pretty girl. You need help. Can I help you and your friend out?" Isabel looks over, seeing Elektra fighting, stating, "It's her." And Emma tells her not to worry. Think of her as a good witch, the sort that wiggles her nose and fun things happen. Ignore the bad witch and the naughty men. Elektra shouts for them to leave, with Emma walking off with Isabel, stating that the bad witch is bossy, huh? She's afraid that there are some bad things happening right now, and we need to leave. Isabel asks why is she helping her, and Emma says, "Because I'm the good witch. That's what I do. I help, and I'm friends with Spider-Man, see?" Spider-Man jumps down, asking, "Wait, are you the woman who screamed in my head? Are you making me help you kidnap a child?" Isabel asks, "Are you kidnapping me?" Emma stops both of them. "Why would I do such a thing? We're friends. But if you want to go with the bad witch." Isabel looks back over at Elektra, killing more men, and Isabel says, "Nah, that's okay. Let's get out of here." But down below, as Emma is helping Isabel into a car, off in the distance is Wesley taking photos. The photos that are now falling in the hands of Fisk. Photos proving that Emma kidnapped a child, that Emma removed her from the town, and that Fisk wasn't able to kill her. Back in the current time, Emma returns to England where she left Isabel when she is suddenly sucker punched to the ground. She looks up to see Union Jack. "I hate hitting a bird, so don't make this harder than it has to be. And don't try to get cute with me. I've got side blockers." Emma says that he'll be hearing from her attorneys and a plastic surgeon soon, but Union Jack throws a tear gas grenade, telling her that he knows about that diamond skin. She coughs as Union Jack picks her up, telling her that she's under arrest and will be extradited back to New York to face charges of child endangerment, kidnapping, and who knows what else. He then whispers, asking, "You didn't, kill the child, did you?" Without giving any answers, Jack walks Emma over to the police van to be taken away, where an officer is waiting with an inhibitor collar. Emma looks at the man, telling him, "That's interesting." And then the officer begins to put the collar on himself. Jack yells out, "You fool! Why aren't you wearing side dampeners? She's a telepath!" She laughs, stating that she is just trying to make all sorts of new friends, like these two. As suddenly, two police dogs turn and begin to growl at Union Jack. Jack says, "Come on, lads." And while Jack is busy with the dogs, Emma orders the other two officers to go ahead and take her away and carry her. As she's lifted up into the air, she falls backwards, grabbing the pins to the tear gas, telling them, "Actually, there's been a change in plans. Go run around and gash your friends wearing side dampeners and mace each other. That should be fun." As everyone starts hitting each other with non-lethal weapons, one officer uncuffs Emma, telling her to enjoy her freedom. Once everyone is away, Emma sneaks around the back of the Hellfire Club in London, where she uses a secret entrance when people who want to party but don't want to be seen go. She quietly enters looking for Catherine. But since Catherine isn't there, she tells the person that is currently there that she's quite impressed and needs her help. A much older Isabel says that she can see that. It's funny. The good witch only shows up when she needs something. And judging by what's been on the telly, your life's a wreck. Emma sits telling her that she appreciates the directness, but it would be helpful for her to return to New York. Afterwards, they can get her set up wherever she wishes. Isabel asks, even Krakoa? Emma tells her there can be accommodations made. Isabel then asks why didn't she just mind wipe her? And Emma tells her that that is still a possibility, but the truth is she wanted to give a defenseless woman a chance. Isabel points to her head, telling her, take a look, I'm not so defenseless. Emma does just that and sees that after Isabel was taken out of the States, Elektra came to visit. Not to harm her, but to say that she is sorry and had to see what she saw. After that, Elektra trained her, taught her how not to be afraid. It was the best summer of Isabel's life. And like many others, she disappeared eventually. Emma says that she didn't know Elektra visited, but in any case, put those fighting skills to use on the men who are about to come in. Before Isabel can even ask what she's talking about, Union Jack jumps through the window. Where's Emma? Jack manages to knock Isabel down, telling her to stay there. You can't beat me. Isabel tells him maybe, but will he be able to catch her while his mate bleeds out? She pulls out a small dagger, swiping at one of the officer's legs. As the man falls, Isabel runs with Jack yelling, I'll never forget a face. Be seeing you soon. After getting what she needed, Emma opens up the portal to Krakoa and both her and Isabel tumble out. Emma jumps up telling her, welcome to Krakoa! And Isabel tells her actually she changed her mind. She can't live here. She's a city rat at heart. After a nice spa day, Emma gets to work with Ben Urwich putting a story out about how Fisk's claim was nothing more than a smear campaign against her and the mutants. In fact, the girl in question is quite alive and well. That seemed to be the end of things, until one night in bed, Fisk's wife, Mary, jumps on top of him with a knife. He asks what is the meaning of this, but after a few moments he realizes that it isn't Mary. Low to use my wife like this, Emma. You must be close by to have dominated Typhoid Mary's mind so easily. Across the room, Emma tells him closer than he thinks. One day, perhaps not long from now, she's going to ask him a question. Of course, she'll know if he's lying, so he might want to answer it honestly. Assuming he lives this circus act that he's made himself here in New York, she will return and ask him if crossing her was worth it. She could be anyone around him at any moment's notice. He won't see her coming until she wants him to. Even if he manages to wiggle free from this reign of terror that he's created, he still has her killing him to look forward to. Mary will awaken in a moment and have no memory of this, and she will see herself out. And that is the brief moment that the X-Men got involved in the Devil's Reign event. But of course, Kingpin is still in control of New York, so make sure you subscribe to see what's happening next in Devil's Reign right here at Comicstorian. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you next time right here.